Let's make one of the viral side bow shirts using the Santa bow from Applique Party. I've printed my design out from MetroPro, the software I prefer to use, and I am using a Comfort Colors lightweight sweatshirt. I'll be hooping using my 7 1/4 inch mighty hoop, some poly mesh, and some tearaway just to keep it secure in the hoop. The best part about using mighty hoops with my Brotherton needle is I can use the snowman feature. I'm going to place this in the center of the design, and then my machine will scan for this image and align the design to exactly where I want it. Now I'm going to use the snowman feature to align the design in the hoop. Right now it is searching for it, as you can see on the machine screen. It's found it. It's going to adjust, rotate, move it up and down for you, so there's no worry about placement. For several pieces of this applique, I'm going to use this Lycra swimsuit type material with Heat and Bond light on the back. I've already removed the backing. I've used this before and it does hold up well to the stitching. After each applique step, I have it set so it stops and you can trim the pieces, and then you'll go on and place the next fabric before any of the satin stitches finish. The next step will be stitching the black boots and the belts, and I am using a cotton fabric in black that has little gold dot accents. Time to trim. On to the next piece is the white, and then we'll do the gold center. Even though I'm going to be outlining these in white, I am using a silver spandex type material like the red, and that's just to give it a little extra pop and pizzazz. And the last applique step before we run the satin is going to be the gold. We have all of the appliques trimmed now, and here comes the nerve-wracking part for me. I'm actually going to trim out the sweatshirt before I stitch the satin stitch because I don't want the raw edge of the sweatshirt showing. Fingers crossed. All right, here we go. Let's try to trim out the sweatshirt. Just as a side note, I did line up the design based on this, since this is what's going to remain. There was a little discrepancy there, so it is not lined up on the bottom seam since I'm cutting that out anyways. Now my preference on applique is to go ahead and iron down with my iron or a little mini heat press the fabric, especially since this is Lycra material. I'm going to do this before the satin stitches. And I do use just a piece of flannel to cover it. You want to be careful if you do use the Lycra because it can melt. All right, we are all pressed and ready to go back on the machine and just let the satin stitches finish over the entire design. All right, it's finished. I could definitely do some work here on my applique trimming skills, but that's user error on my part. This is so cute. So if you are making these to sell, please, please, please list these at an appropriate price because these take a lot of work. I'm going to have to unhoop this and basically redo this on the other side now, and then decide if I want something on the front as well. Now that I have this out of the hoop, I could definitely go back and trim a little bit closer, maybe use some heat to just scorch those lines a little bit and clean that up. But overall, super happy with how this came out. All right, both bows are finished here on the end of the shirt, and I think they came out great. I just had a genius idea. I think if I had maybe some fabric markers or maybe a correct colored Sharpie and just coloring along there, I think that might make a huge difference in appearance. And from a digitizing standpoint, I am actually going to move these tie-ins. They're here and here for these two pieces. I'm going to move them to the outside so that way if you are using them for a bow, you will not run into the issue of having those ties right there. That was definitely an afterthought when I was working on this. So I will get those switched. If you've already purchased the design on Etsy, let me know, and I will send you the updated files. Thanks, guys.